Before we start, we want to say thank you to our special guests who came from Israel, 4th Tzananim paratroopers from Tzahal. First Lieutenant Roy Levy, platoon commander from Sayeret Zanhanim. First Sergeant Micha Britz from Battalion 202 of Zanhanim. Captain Ofek Sharlo, welfare commander of the Zanhanim. And First Lieutenant Noah Shraga, operation commander from Battalion 101 of Zanhanim. 23,447, including 127 this year, soldiers that have been killed in the history of the state of Israel. 2,576, including 31 this year, the number of innocent lives lost to terror. Today we join together to connect with Achinu Kol Beit Yisrael and Medinat Yisrael as we commemorate those who have fallen al Kiddush Hashem, both as victims of war and as victims of terror in the state of Israel.
יזכור אלוהים והעם ישראל את בניו ובנותיו, הנאמנים והאמיצים, חיילי צבא הגנה לישראל, וכל לוחמי המחתרות וחטיבות הלוחמים במערכות העם, וכל אנשי קהילות המודיעין והביטחון ואנשי המשטרה אשר חיפו נפשם במלחמה על תקומת ישראל, וכל אלה שנרצחו בארץ מחוצה לה בידי מרצחים מארגוני הטרור. יזכור אלוהים ויתברך בזרעו ויבל על זיו האלוהים וחמדת הגבורה קדושת ארצו ומסירות הנפש אשר נספו במערכה הכבדה. יהיו חללי מערכות ישראל עטורי הניצחון חתומים בלב ישראל לדור דור.
The number is not 23,447. The number is actually much greater, by another 2,527 people who were also murdered in acts of terror. That's almost 26,000 people. 26,000 people in a land of about 6 million Jews. 26,000 people means that everybody knows somebody. All of the adults in this room, and many of you are students, know somebody. Somebody or somebody's family, or a friend of somebody's family who was killed defending the land of Israel, or murdered just walking down the streets. And that's why this day is so difficult. That's why this day is so meaningful. Because we take a few moments out of our lives and try to remember, try to imagine what it means. 26,000 people. The very first person on the list was a Jew by the name of Aaron Hershey. The year was 1873. He and his family lived in the neighborhood of Mishkanot Sha'ananim, outside of the walls. Typically, the Jews who lived in Yerushalayim at that time would buy water from the Arabs in the village of Silwan. Most of you have been to Silwan, or right outside of it. because that's where the excavations of the old Yerushalayim from the time of David HaMelech is. Here, David. But that year, there was a lot of rain. And so the Jews did not have to buy their water. The Arabs of Siwan decided to rise up, to rob, to steal, to terrorize the small Jewish community outside the walls. And they broke into Aaron Hirschler's home. He chased them. And then they turned and they shot him 12 times. The state of Israel felt. 1873. Aaron Hirschler was the very first person on the list. And since then, 26,000 more. There are so many stories I could share with you today, not of people, but of responses. But I've chosen just three. Three from people you've heard of. Stories of responses from Rav Soloveitchik, from Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and from Rav Lau. The first story is Rav Soloveitchik. There is a halakha that if someone, God forbid, is murdered, that person, when buried, is buried in the clothes soaked in his own blood. Because those clothes call out to God. Call out for a response. Rav Soloveitchik, when speaking of the land of Israel, said that Kedusha is also extended to the flag of the state of Israel. A flag that people have died defending. An idea that people have given their lives to uphold. The flag of the state of Israel is Kadosh. Because people have defended it with their lives. Because of today, the flag is Kadosh. The second story is one that I've told on many occasions. It's a story of Rav Lichtenstein and Rav Soloveitchik. Rav Lichtenstein Zatzal, whose yahrzeit was just 2 days ago, was the son-in-law of Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal. Rav Lichtenstein in his yeshiva, Yeshivat Har Etzion, was approached by one of his students. And he was asked, I know how much Rav Soloveitchik was particular about how people are dressed for tefillah. But I have a problem. I serve in the Shirion, in the tank corps. And every day when I'm fixing the tanks, my uniform becomes covered with oil and grease and dirt. And the time comes for tefillah. And if I want to be able to daven, it's very difficult to change into clothes for tefillah. What do I do? Rav Lichtenstein said, I'll take it to my father-in-law to ask. So he went to the Rav, and he asked his question. Does he have to change? And Rav Soloveitchik looked at Rav Lichtenstein. He wondered for a moment, and then he said to him, why would he need to change? He's wearing Bigdei Kodesh, the uniform of an Israeli soldier, our Bigdei Kodesh. The uniform, our Bigdei Kodesh, just as we talk in Tanakh of the Bigdei Kodesh of Aaron Uvanav, of the Kohanim. Because Tzahal serves a purpose of protecting us, of creating for us more than any of us can imagine. The fact that we're joined today by 4 Chayalim is an honor to the school. And it's an honor to have those Bigdei Kodesh with us today. And one last story. The story of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach was one of the Gedolei Hador of the last generation. He was a man whose smile filled the room. A man of extraordinary modesty. I remember visiting him once in his house. The house looked like the house of a pauper. You climbed up the stairs and you walked in, there was no furniture. And the furniture that was so simple, so minimal. We walked into his office, and just sitting across from him, Shlomo Zalman was inspiring. Because you saw in his eyes and in his smile and in his face the beauty of Torah, the love of Klal Yisrael. Rav Shlomo Zalman lived in a neighborhood in Yerushalayim called Shaarei Chesed. But he worked in the yeshiva of Kol Torah in Bayit V'Gan. It's about a 10-minute drive. And to go from Shaarei Chesed to Bayit V'Gan, he would drive by every day, Har Herzl. And often he would ask his driver to stop for a few moments, to pull over at Har Herzl. And Rav Shlomo Zalman would then recite Tehillim. Why? Rav Lau explained it to be another story. The story of another one of Rav Shlomo Zalman's Talmidim who came to him once and said, Rebbe, I have a problem, and I want to be able to pray at Kivrei Tzadikim to find the right answer. I want to pray at the graves of the righteous ones. And so I need to take a few days from the yeshiva to be able to go up into the Galil, to the area of Tzfat and Tiberia, where the Tanaim and the Amoraim are buried, where the Tzadikim are buried. Can I take a few days off? Rav Shlomo Zalman looked at the young man and said, I understand. I understand why you need the time. And I understand why you want to pray at the Kivrei Tzadikim. But I don't understand why you need those days off. Why do you need to travel for hours when just a few minutes away from our yeshiva are the Kivrei Tzadikim of thousands, the Tzadikim who are buried on Har Herzl in the military cemetery of Medinat Yisrael. Today's a day that we remember the Kedusha of the flag, that we remember the B'dei Kodesh of the uniform of Tzahal, and we remember all of the Tzadikim and Kedoshim who died on Kedushat Hashem, defending the land. And today is the day that we use to also prepare for tonight, when we celebrate. And I would suggest to all of you that the true measure of all of us is how much we understand today, and how much today moves us forward to celebrate tonight. Medinat Yisrael, for all of you, for almost all of us in this room, is something we were born to. For all of you, you don't remember the times that some of us do, whether it's the 6-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, the times when we were truly scared of what would be, the times when people didn't travel to Israel like they do today. But we remember, and today we remember all of those people who made everything possible for all of us. The pride that we have in Medinat Yisrael, the opportunities that you will have, almost all of you, to spend a year studying in Israel, and the opportunity that many of you will have. The past is the indication. Probably 30 to 40% of you will have to please one day soon make Aliyah and live in Medinat Israel. But never forget the Kedushah of the flag, the B'nai Kodesh worn by those defending that flag, and the tzaddikim gave their lives so that we can have all that we have in Medinat Israel.
אל מלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים טהורים וגיבורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, ונשמות חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ולוחמי המחתרות שנפלו במלחמות ישראל, וכל הלוחמים ומערכותם שחירפו נפשם למות על קדושת השם, ובעזרת אלוהי מערכות ישראל הביאו לתקומת האומה והמדינה ולגאולת הארץ ועיר האלוהים. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם. אדוני הוא נחלתם וגן עדן מנוחתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימים, ונאמר אמן.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל העומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים ומן הים הגדול הגבוה הרמה והיבשה באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני אלוהינו קמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צער וצוקה, מכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם, ידבר בשבילנו מתחתיהם, ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון. ויקוים בהם הכתוב כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן.
אל מלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, עמסי מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, מעלות קדושים ומותרים, כזר הרקיע מזהירים, אז נשמות כל הקדושים שנשרפו ברחבי ארץ ישראל בדרכים ושווקים, ביישובים ובערים, בהגנה ובמשמר, ביניהם נערים וזקנים טף ונשים, הורים על ילדים, בעלים מנשותיהם, מורים ותלמידיהם, שנהרגו במיתות ומשונות ובסתריות, והיג'ו בחרב בסקילה ובשריפה, בריות בני המערב ובגופי צבאת, על ידי פראי אדם הבאים ונשלנו מארצנו ולהפקידנו ארץ, אל תכסה דמם, ואל יהא מקום לצעקתם, עד אשר ישכיב אדוני משמיים ויחוס על עמו, ארצנו ונחלתו. זכוסם תעמוד לישראל ולארצו, וגם בנו הכתוב, הרנינו גויים עמו, כי דם עבדיו יקם ונקם ישיב, וצרה ותגבר אדמתו עמו, לכן בעל הרחמים יסירם בסתר כנפיו ולעמיו, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם, ינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן.
Some of us hear of the Peretz family. Uriel, Miriam Peretz's firstborn, an officer in the Golani Brigade, was killed during a combat mission in Lebanon. Yet, Miriam and Eliezer, Uriel's parents, signed a special form allowing all of their other sons to serve as a combat soldier as well. Eliraz, Miriam's second son, was killed in Gaza. Miriam Peretz's story is a story of the state of Israel, a story of heroism. Here are Miriam Peretz's words. יש לי היום בחיים שני בתים. יש לי את הבית הזה שבו נולדו, אבל יש לי עוד בית. בית חדש. זה הבית בהר הרצל. שם קבורים שני הילדים שלי. הם בנו להם שם בית אחר. בית יותר קר, כשיורד גשם שם, אני חושבת אולי קר להם, ואני לפעמים שואלת, את יודעת מה יש בקרבך? את יודעת מה קיבלת? את יודעת, האדמה הזאת, איזה ילדים יש שם? לחזור הביתה, הם לא יחזרו, הם לא ישובו לעולם. לחזור הביתה לשולחן שבת, לחזור לחג, לחזור לשמחות, לחזור לקבל חיבוק. לא יהיה. רק בארץ הזאת, השילוב הזה יכול לקרות. ארץ שיודעת לקום משואה לתקומה. עם שיודע להיות יום במאבק ואיום, ויום למחרת לחגוג ולחיות. זה המאבק על החירות שלנו. המאבק הזה לא תם.
My name is Roy Levin. I am lieutenant in the Special Forces of the Recon Battalion of the Paratroopers Brigade. Actually, this is my first time in my life that I'm away from Israel during these sacred days. Memorial Day, Yom HaZikaron, and Independence Day, Yom HaAtzmaut, are extremely meaningful to me, to my family, to my homeland, to the soldiers of the IDF, and obviously to every Israeli and Jew worldwide. On Memorial Day, I always visit in the military cemetery on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, where some of my own soldiers, brothers in arms, and family friends who have fallen in the different wars of Israel now rest in peace. I do not take it for granted that I am able to stand here, thousands of kilometers away from my beloved country, wearing my IDF uniform with great pride, singing a tikva and saluting my flag, with the knowledge that back home there is an entire army of soldiers, men and women, protecting my family and country so that we can be a free people in our land, as are the words of our national anthem, Liot Am Chofshi Be'atzenu. Last week we commemorated the Holocaust on Yom HaShoah. These holy days between Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaAtzmaut serve as a reminder to me why I should and must continue to defend and fight for my country. I have been granted a great privilege and I am honored to do so. This year I appreciate the special opportunity to share these very meaningful days with you. On Israel's 68th anniversary, I wish my beautiful country, as well as all of you, to be blessed with only good days to come. May we learn to love each other and learn to see the good side of things. May the State of Israel continue to be a source of pride to us all. Thank you very much.